Hey everybody, welcome to Life with Sunny Lee with Kathy Jarvis. And it's the first week of August and it's been hot, it's been busy. We have been working on the shed a lot. Almost every day this week we've either gone to the store and got supplies or got lumber or something. So it's been cutting into the time that I've had to be able to actually work in the garden. But I've gotten a lot done. Saturday we decided that, well, I decided I was going to water the garden and not do much anything else. And I got into the greenhouse and noticed that the peppers were hanging to the point. The peppers were hanging to the point where they were just pulling the plants down to the ground. So I decided to harvest those. Got out here and looked at the zucchini and noticed that I had a couple of giant zucchinis that were hiding underneath the leaves. Looked at the okra and decided that I had some there that needed to be harvested. So I harvested all those, but I couldn't process them Saturday because we had to go to town. I was complete of cat food. Now, that doesn't happen very often. And I do have a good reason why it did happen. I try to keep at least one case ahead for food. And this past week, he's been out working on the shed, and he's been working a pie. And two of the cats decided they wanted to go up on top with him. And that is a danger to both him and the cats. In fact, one of the cats did fall off. And don't believe the old saying that cats always land on their feet. She did land on her feet, but she also hit her head pretty hard. And she was a bit dazed. And so I brought her in. And I brought her buddy in, her brother, who also liked to climb up there. So I put them in the crate. So they have been outside when he's not working and in the crate when he has been working. So that meant I've gone through a lot more cat litter. Plus I've gone through some extra food because they don't have anything else to do in there but eat. So they eat constantly while they're inside. So that was the reason I had to go and get cat food, and I had to get dog food. So went through those in the refrigerator so I could process them the next day. Sunday after church, I took care of those, froze them, except for the zucchini. I did freeze zucchini, but I made zucchini jam. I had never even heard of zucchini jam before, but it was only 4 ingredients. It looked fairly easy, so I decided to try it. Oh my gosh, was that stuff good. I tried it with the strawberry jello, and yes, I did say jello. And I'm waiting for these cucumbers to get bigger so I can make some with cherry and orange. I think those would be really good. The only problem I had was when I came out here on Monday to see if I had any more zucchinis, I found but vine borer damage. One of the zucchinis was completely gone, so I took it out. The other two are damaged, but they have put out roots along the path, so hopefully they might be able to make it. I did the best I could with them. I've got, as you can see, I've still got a zucchini there. I got one there starting, so I should have some zucchinis yet. Plus I got the ones in the greenhouse, but the ones in the greenhouse I'll have to watch and hand pollinate because there's not enough insects in there to make sure that they're pollinated well. Also on Monday I decided to trim the okra because I missed a lot of the longer ones because of the leaf coverage. And so I took and removed all the lower leaves. And this allowed me to see inside there easily. I don't have to crawl in and get covered with yucky stuff from them. And it also allows the pollinators to get to the flowers easier. So, and then I whipped them. And I hadn't heard of that before, but it's supposed to be kind of stress them a little bit so they bloom more. And I have to admit that after I did that, they have bursted with all kinds of flowers that weren't there before. So we give it a try. Now the ones inside the greenhouse I haven't done anything with yet, but I'm trying it out here because these are planted fairly close together, and I wanted to be able to get some air in there and be able to see better what they were. Also, I weeded out any weeds that were in here. I took the old dead leaves off of the zucchinis so I could get to the actual center of them to get to the area where the borer was at. I also weeded these strawberries. Now he just got through mowing, so they've got a bunch of grass clippings on them. And I started working on this bed. Now, this is the bed that's going to be replaced with one of those new metal beds I just bought. And it's got, I think, 2 blueberries in here. This blueberry plant is 9 years old and it hasn't done a thing. So I'm going to dig it out and put it in a different spot, see if I can get it to go better. And then I'm taking the rest of the strawberries. There's not many strawberries left in here. But I took 24 strawberries out of here. And we had just gotten a whole bunch of rain. But those strawberry leaves, strawberry roots, were so dry that it was like when they come originally in the spring or fall when you order them and they come, that's how dry these poor little things were. So I took 24 of them and I took them to the low greenhouse. And I planted them into this new container. And this was on Monday and this is Friday, so you can see they're still recovering. It's pretty hot in here right now, but they've got more water now than they had for a long time. I still have that one over there to fill and to seed it. I'm going to put lettuce in that, but it's way too hot yet in here to do lettuce. So you can see most of the other stuff loves this hot weather. But the lettuce that I had for the summer is already starting to go to seed, and it's not that old. I haven't found many peas that came up. I guess it was still a little too hot for them in here. So I've got a couple, but I planted 4 rows of peas there, and I only see 2 or 3 peas coming up. Plus I got a tree there I need to take out. The only problem I'm having with this greenhouse, all of a sudden I'm getting little trees growing up through the sand and through the beds. Cucumbers doing really well. Cabbages are doing really well in here. And I'm going to have to harvest the peppers again. Okay, another thing I did this week was I harvested my onions. Now, they were all in this bed with the herbs. So it really smells pretty good in here right now because I just got through doing it on Friday morning. And having to move all these herbs around to get to these really makes it smell great in here. So what I'm going to do is leave these like this for a couple of days. And then as they dry out, I will take them in and put them in a dryer, not dryer, but a cooler spot with more shade to finish curing. Another thing I did was start getting some tomatoes. So they're not all quite ready yet, but they're getting there. It's After this rain, the tomatoes really took off, but so did the weeds. And I just haven't been able to catch up with all the weeds and everything that's come in. I do have some pumpkins. They're doing well. Nice large pumpkin. And I got some watermelon. I had a problem with the cantaloupe. Rain came and they kind of rotted. I had 5 of them that rotted out here in the rain because they just got too moist. A couple of green ones out here. Hopefully they will make it and not rot. Not have another big rainstorm and have them just rot real quick. So that's what I've done out here. We had a lot of things going on. The bucket garden is looking really nice. I've harvested out of the bucket that's got the weeds in it. I've harvested that one out. Harvest this one down here. So I've harvested some of them, but I still got a couple buckets that have some carrots in it yet. And the hummingbirds just love these petunias. These were volunteer petunias that just came in the bucket, so I left them. Inside the big greenhouse this week, if you can even get into it, the sweet potatoes have gone wild. I still have my little church begonias and one begonia that I bought. And here I have tomatoes. One Rome tomato here. I have 2 eating tomatoes in the other greenhouse. Green beans are still doing well. We're harvesting off of them. They haven't put out a whole bunch, but they put out just enough for us to have for supper at night again. So they're getting to the end of their cycle, but that's fine. I'm not going to hoe them. I'm just going to leave them. I'm going to go ahead and harvest some of them for food at night and stuff, but I'm going to leave most of them just go to seed so I can harvest the seeds. My jalapenos are going nuts. I've actually given some away to my family members because I did not realize that this is my first year of growing jalapenos, and I did not realize that these put so much out per plant. So I planted like 16 plants. Don't need that many plants. Cucumbers are doing really well. We've got the aphids under control, so that's not a problem anymore, but I'm still waiting for cucumbers. I have not had any. I've had 2 cucumbers off of this thing so far. I see a lot of flowers, but I have not seen many female flowers. And when I do, I pollinate them, but there's insects in here. You can see them flying around, so there's not like they don't have any pollination. So we'll see. Sweet corn is just about done. I've harvested most of them. See, the stalks have turned brown on the ones I've harvested. I still got a few that have that need to finish. But you can see my po beans are wrapping around the stalks as I planned. And so they're doing fine. This is the 3rd wave of beans. My other ones are over there. They're just getting ready to be harvested. And so we're doing really good on the green beans. The rest of the stuff, like I said, the weeds kind of overtook everything. This was my trap patch of kale, and it did a good job. You can see where the insects ate most of them off, but it's got new growth coming on, so we can still use this new growth that comes. We can harvest that if we want, but if no other bugs get to it. Broccoli has all gone to seed, so has the cauliflower. I got a couple of cabbages out in that mess. Over here were green beans that I left go to seed. So I'm gonna have to get out here and see if I have any that I can. They're not quite ready for seeds yet. You can see how they're getting yellow and drying up. I'm gonna save these all for seeds for next year. So I'm letting this whole patch go to seed. That over there is supposed to be my parsnips and cucumbers. I think the weeds have overtaken that. These had no weeds in them at all before the rain. And then wham. The zucchini over here has not done well. I don't know. I guess the borers really got into it, but I do have a cucumber. A nice looking cucumber. So, usually my cucumbers do better inside the greenhouse, but this year the ones out here are doing better. Wow. Another thing I started doing was working on the task list of things I want to get done before winter. And yes, it's August. It's time to really start thinking about preparing for the winter. And one of the things I need to do is get this fire pit cover repainted and redone. Got a cat climbing up my leg. Hello, puppy. Kitty. Yeah, Fluffy. Sit down. That little one right there, scratching herself, is the one that fell off the top of the roof. But she's okay now. So anyway, one of the things start doing is getting your winter projects, your fall projects done for winter. And try to get those done by mid-August. Got the table out there. And our biggest project that we're trying to get done before winter is the new shed. And it's coming along nicely. We've got the siding on the back yet. He's got a lot of that done, but we got some of it yet to do at the top. And get the roof on. Cat? Get the roof on and get the front and put the doors in. Got a little kitty here that wants a lot of attention. Alright, so at this point, I'm not so concerned about the weeds in the garden. Keep the weeds out of the greenhouse because I've got fall planting that I'm doing only in the greenhouse. The outside garden will be put to bed as soon as I get them weeded and get the seeds saved out of those that I want to save. And then I'm going to change things around this year. I'm going to put some of the new raised beds that are higher, mainly because we're getting older. We don't want to bend down quite as far. So I'm going to put the higher raised beds in. And we're cutting down on the number of raised beds that we have because we added 4 new ones in the new greenhouse. We added the 4 new ones in the new greenhouse this year. So I can figure I can take out at least 4 from the outdoor garden I can eliminate, because I don't need all of those outside ones and the inside ones at the same time. And the outside ones are really harder to keep weeds out of than the ones inside the greenhouse. So there's a lot less weeding inside the greenhouse than there is outside. Plus I've noticed that the higher raised beds outside do not have as many weeds as the low ones do. So I think lower to the ground, they get more of the grass seeds in them. They get more of the higher weeds that hang over and drop their seeds into the bed. It just seems like the higher beds do better than the low ones. So we're going to be slowly transferring over to the bigger, higher side beds in the next year or so. And like I said, I've got 4 new ones I'm going to put out there this fall or next spring. And we'll go from there. We'll plant those and see if we really need any more or not. So I'm kind of downsizing the amount of garden because I'm producing more inside the greenhouse than I ever did outside. So I think maybe, hopefully I can, like I said, downsize the outside beds and not have as many of them to deal with and still get the same amount of produce. Especially with the good soil that I've got from Soils Plus. That soil has been wonderful so far. A lot better than my native soil and a lot better than the bought-in soil I got from the big box stores. So it's been a busy week and we got a lot more yet to do. So remember, stay busy and follow that dream, and dream big and follow that dream. Okay, like, share, subscribe. See you in the next video. Bye everybody.